All right, everyone, welcome back. Today, I am giving you guys some exciting stuff for PvP. There is a brand new character out, and he has been made absolutely perfect by the devs on manual play PvP. His skills are smooth as silk. He's easily a debuff master. His skills have high priority. His heal is pretty good on his skills, even though he lacks constant heal. His DPS is off the charts. I am taking on a top 50 Vibranium player with a mighty conquest at level 70. His gear is at 20. And I'm killing meta on manual. His 2 has range. His defense is crazy. His 4 has range, and it's actually easy to avoid. It's pretty linear. It's not like Null's 5 that covers the whole map. I meant to say his 5th for that description, not his 4th. His 4th is also easy to avoid, but it goes absolutely haywire, and it could be moved around all across the field. And here I have low defense because I have a mighty conquest at level 70. Wait till you see what I could do with my friend's account. I basically figured out the character in 3 minutes, whereas with Madeline Pryor, it took me like 10 minutes. He's a true debuff master. His 5th, his 4th to some degree, and his 3 can be canceled. His 2 has debuffs in between, but his other skills have almost full debuffs. This is a full and complete build, and usually I'm switching and swapping around, but because I know how to force cancel, which I teach you guys in the video previously, I'm basically able to maneuver however I please. Like, I can basically do whatever I want. Get KANG, get him tier 4, give him, like, Colossus, and he could solo on manual. Both meta, of course, with the Brilliant Conquest as well. And it's probably his best CTP by far because he's actually one of the few tunes that really carry the DPS, like full-fledged. And he could be paired with anybody. Like, I'm talking anybody. Now, on auto, he's not that hard to kill on auto. Because, like I said, that fit skill is very linear and it's easy to avoid. His second skill kind of has a similar range as Null's 5th skill, but if you just run in one direction, you could also avoid it as well. If you carry the defense, now you could also switch out the character to another one and run, and you could avoid majority of the skill as well. It is hard to avoid, and he does have very good targeting for the most part, and his skills have very high priority on a low cooldown. Like, his 2 is on a low cooldown, his 5 is on a low cooldown similar to Null, and he's very easily a debuff master. The debuff mastery rotation is 2, delay cancel, 5 cancel, 3, and into 4, and you can hold the 4, and you can do basically whatever you want with it. I'm going to showcase it here. He is so fun. This guy is like Hashirama in Naruto, man. He is so fun. He just whips out a freaking, the Pharaoh thing, and he just does an insane amount of hits and DPS. The only problem is that he has to avoid issues like that where he gets caught and the AI cancel their skills. But he could still kill a meta in one life. And if you have the stats to back it up, he can survive like critical skills like Sentry Second or Null Second. Now, honestly, judging by this alone, I think that this character can easily be a top 3. I think he's better than Surfer. I think he's better than Logan. If he's soloing like Sentry and Null are, then he's definitely a top 3. Because this is the hardest mode to compete in. And you know how it is. When you easily compete in this mode, you're basically meta. As you can see, I showcase killing all the meta, including Adam, Surfer, Logan, Sentry, Null. And the thing about it is that I don't think he is better than Sentry and Null. I don't think he's better than either of them. I think he's close, but I don't think he's better than them. One, he lacks the constant heal. Now, Null and Sentry don't have constant heal, but Sentry has higher percentage of heals, and he has heal, I think, on his tier 4 striker, as well as Null. And Null also gets higher percentage of heals, and his skills have higher priority and higher range. So I think that those two are still dominant, but Kang easily is better than Adam, Surfer, and Logan for this mode, because he's a counter to the top 2. Just because he's a counter to the top 2 doesn't make him top 2, because he needs a support, and he probably needs to be with another meta as well in order to really kill like a meta seriously in the top like 200-300. Outside of the top 200-300, you could kill meta. I mean, my Null in TBA got wrecked by a Kang, so you could know that Kang definitely has potential to be a counter, but being a counter to like a top 500 Null or Sentry build is tough. What's going to be the main issue is that content creators are going to put this guy on auto, and he's going to perform really, really well at first, and then they're going to try to fight like the top 20 builds, and they're either going to do really well against one of them, both of them, or none of them. Because autoplay is just too inconsistent in my opinion, and it only works for the top like 1%, like I keep saying. So content creators should be looking at this going, wow, this is a gold mine to make really, really cool content, and I get to have a lot of fun doing it, because this is like cake. This is fun. This is the dream. I can now make a 6-team for timeline knowing that I have 5 teams that could counter the Tinkaton's Kang, the Conqueror, and I could basically whoop meta almost solo at level 70 with this guy. He is crazy good on manual. You guys have to try him, and you have to learn what I've been trying to tell you guys, so you guys can have as much fun as I'm having. I think this is a huge win for PvP, and I think you guys should build Kang over Silver Surfer if you guys haven't already done so. You guys can still build Adam and Logan over him if you guys want to, but if you guys don't have those meta and have a decision to build Kang, Surfer, Adam, or Logan, you should build Kang, and then Logan, and then Adam, and then Surfer. Kang is great, and I think that he is like great for beginners to learn. And even here, I tried autoplay, and I was relatively confident in his performance. Even though he did lose to that Surfer the second time around, I thought that I could have beat him pretty easily. Big shout out to my friend Invisible, by the way, for allowing me to use his account. I really appreciate it. Now you'll see me take on Tinkerton's Kang with all of my teams and even my updated teams, because now I have 6 teams available already right now at my disposal to use for manual play. So I'm very, very excited. You can see Kang's one-shot potential right here on his second skill, but you could see that he is susceptible to something like Reflect, and then he is also susceptible to one-shot skills, but he can also potentially interrupt and insta-kill. While I can get a potential defeat here, he's definitely not the hardest opponent I've ever faced. He's just he's really, really strong defensively because of that 45% decreased damage received. It is elite. A lot of people need to put a dealer ahead of him just to get him to start the match appropriately. So that's like another issue that he has, that like maybe, for example, someone like Sentry doesn't have, because Sentry's heals are just stronger and his skills are on like a slightly lower cooldown. He could be killed by a lot of different ways. He could be debuffed, he could be reflected, he could be like two-shotted with like 2 different skills. But he's pretty strong, and he does interrupt. You can see that I can avoid his fit skill pretty easily. And then he can just get two-shotted right there. So I go on to the next team. This team was the hardest because it's really, really fragile. Like, this is a triple energy team. Like, he could definitely like one-shot any one of these characters, especially Quicksilver. Adam was having a huge problem killing him. Now, if he didn't have Colossus support, he wouldn't have too much of a problem. So I basically just use him to trigger debuff removal. So somebody like Mephisto can kill him, or I could like swap in Quicksilver and kill with him on the follow-up. As you could see, I'm killing him basically the same way that I kill Sentry and Null. I'm just perma-debuffing him. I'm triggering his debuff removal. I am swapping in between characters. I'm timing my skills to make sure they stun lock, because you could see that if I'm off by a couple of seconds, I'm basically screwed. And he has a lot of hits, so he could easily bypass like a dodge mechanic like Quicksilver's. Kang's shield is very, very interesting as his tier 4 striker, but it's going to be very, very rare that you see it on an auto AI perform it in action, but you could certainly perform it. It's just you have to keep Kang alive. Now, if you really want to use him for timeline battle permanently, I think you can. It's just I don't think you could pair him with double support. I think that you should pair him with probably... you can do it with Null or Sentry or both. I think that having that triple meta could actually be pretty effective. And I'm going to be looking for those teams and attempting to try and beat them as soon as I could find them. I think that they're going to be able to be pretty easy to beat. It's just still too difficult for most meta to compete in timeline battle outside of Sentry and Null. I mean, look at Madeline Pryor. Madeline Pryor, in my opinion, has already came and went, especially compared to this meta. It's not even close. She was a total luxury seasonal, and now she's already been replaced in 2 game modes pretty much. This one and Team Battle Arena. I think the only way Maddie can be effective in Team Battle is if she's 35 cost. So she would need to be paired with somebody like Logan in order to be effective, or Adam, for example. Whereas Kang, when Kang is 45, he could be paired with a sub-meta, and when he's 50, he could still be paired with a double support, and at double support, he can and will kill Adam and Surfer. I'm almost certain of it. Against Logan, he should be able to remove his buffs, and he should be able to tank his initial fit skill. So he should be able to kill Logan as well. So he almost should be replacing Logan. I think in team battle, you will start eventually seeing Logan at 35 cost. I'm taking a few more of my teams to fight Tinkaton's Kang, and Logan is still pretty good as long as you trigger Kang's debuff removal beforehand. Also, Tinkaton already stopped using Kang in timeline, so that probably means that they're getting wrecked by the typical meta. So I can't really fight Kangs too much probably after this next few days. So take advantage of fighting Kang now so you get awareness of what he's like, of course. Now, what I forgot to talk about was CTP alternatives. I think that every toon has CTP alternatives. I can imagine Kang working well with a Greed. I think he could one-shot fairly easy. I don't know if he's proc friendly, and I heard in PvE he's quite bad. But this is just hearsay. I don't know his PvE performance. This is just a PvP review. Third best CTP choice, I'll think about it and I'll break it down. So I think he could benefit from the steal effect from authority and from invincibility, but I think he's going to be a little bit too open to damage in some points. I don't think he really needs the accumulation from it. I can imagine him working with regen because the penetration stat triggers debuff removal. So I would think that it's a tie between authority and regen as a third choice. But I would stick with the first two choices. Here I'm crazy because I'm going against the top Kang with a level 70 Kang, and somehow I'm getting through. I think Ghost Rider is somewhat a counter to Kang. If your damage is too low, then your Ghost Rider is going to struggle just like every other character. Now, I'm glad that I'm one of the first ones to get the video out first, because you're going to see a lot of content creators making videos on this character, and I would say a huge portion of them are not going to know what the hell they're doing, and they're just going to be autoplaying. So hopefully, if content creators are watching this, they can really get ahead of the game and they could actually put out some decent information regarding the character. If normal people are watching this, they could dissect what's nonsense as a review and what's valid as a review. I'm going to go into some TBA, and I'm putting Kang with meta just to be able to see how he performs against various different meta under some level of protection. So he did pretty well against Madeline Pryor. He did pretty well against Adam and Surfer, and he did well against Logan. But he also lost to them, especially since I'm level 70, and I'm also reducing the power of Sentry and Null when I pair them both with Kang as well. But the team does have some potential, but obviously it's not going to work well enough if my Kang is at 70. And then here you could see Kang being paired with Logan, and he actually beats this team pretty fairly. It's my team. You know, my team's not that strong. I have an Energy Atom and an Energy Surfer. But here, Kang actually almost single-handedly takes on Surfer. And this is like a, top 600 team in team battle. So the information is pretty valid. I think like he's good against all of the meta, pretty much. And it could show here. This is like the best example I could make of team battle tactics. And I just wanted to add this tactic here because this is why people are putting Rescue with Logan. is because they want to fight and counter sentry this way. It's a tactic that I forgot to add in my TBA video. It relies on the game's debuff removal, and it always like adds and removes debuff removal. It's really, really weird. Basically here, you'll see Kang really bust up my Null. My Null has a Brilliant Conquest with double support, so it was pretty impressive to see Kang do that. I think Kang is more of a Null counter rather than a Sentry counter, even though people are begging to differ. Kang does counter both of them, but Null is way easier to counter because he gets debuffed for way longer. Here you're going to see Kang kind of tank Logan for the most part, and then you're going to see him remove Logan's buffs later on, like so. So I think that makes Kang a pretty fair counter to Logan and could easily replace him this way, even already at 70. And then you'll see here that Kang could also take on, you know, a Conquest Atom and a Conquest Surfer together with Sentry, which is not bad. And he actually did a lot of the damage there too. Of course, last but not least, I'm going to take you guys into some Otherworld battle. I think here he's debuffed a lot because his damage is decreased, but that doesn't mean he isn't effective. But he can get countered somewhat by Ghost Rider and by like certain immortal characters this particular season. So be aware of that. But he will be a top pick for this entire week. And it's recommended to use him even at 70. Of course, he could be beaten, but he is a highly recommended toon to use this week. And I do recommend to put him like in the middle, because the middle is a tough place to put characters, but he could still thrive there. Because even though he'll die here, he could still use his 2 from range and his 5 from range. So he could still potentially help get a win. You can basically give him any Otherworld battle substat. You can give him offense. You can give him ignore damage decrease. You can give him remove all buffs from, or all debuffs from all buffs. You can give him any of those and he'll thrive very, very well. You know, he's a reviver, so revivers are always essential in this game mode. So I'm going to be releasing an Otherworld battle play guide as well. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be going over plenty of Otherworld battle matches and tactics for you to see over the course and span of 5 weeks. So stay tuned for that. It will feature more of Kang. If you guys have any questions regarding PvP, you can always hit me up on Discord at Marine Velvet, number 0671. You can also join our Discord server, Stark Industries. Be sure to join. Be sure to like and subscribe to the video. Share with your friends. See you in the next one.